Okay, so here's a thought. What if your family pet, something you've raised, loved, and trusted, suddenly became your worst nightmare? That's the premise of Primate, and it's as wild as it sounds.
Oh, it's more than wild. It's downright terrifying. The movie doesn't waste any time setting the tone either. It opens with this brutal, shocking attack on a veterinarian, and you immediately know you're in for something intense.
Right, and then it pulls the classic horror move of rewinding the clock. We jump back 36 hours to meet Lucy, a college student heading home to Hawaii. On the surface, it seems like a typical homecoming, family, friends, a gorgeous cliffside house. But there's this undercurrent of grief. Her mom passed away from cancer the year before, and you can feel that loss in every interaction.
And that family dynamic is so interesting. Lucy's dad, Adam, is a deaf novelist who communicates through sign language, which adds a unique layer to the story. Then there's her younger sister, Erin, who's clearly still processing their mom's death. It's a lot of emotional weight before the chaos even begins.
And let's talk about that house. It's stunning. Open plan, built into a cliff, with an underground swimming pool. It's the kind of place that screams luxury and safety. But the movie flips that on its head. It becomes this claustrophobic, inescapable setting once things go wrong.
Exactly. And then there's Ben, the family's pet chimpanzee. At first, he's kind of adorable, right? He's super intelligent thanks to Lucy's mom, who was a linguistics professor. She even taught him to use a custom soundboard to communicate. It's one of those details that makes you think, oh, this is going to be a sweet, heartwarming story.
But then, almost immediately, you start to sense something's off. Ben begins acting strangely, and Adam finds a dead mongoose in his enclosure. That's when he realizes Ben's been bitten. And from that moment on, it's like watching a ticking time bomb.
What's so effective is how the movie builds tension. The next day, while Adam's at a book signing, all hell breaks loose. Ben goes on a rampage, and it's terrifying. The director, Johannes Roberts, and co-writer Ernest Riera really know how to keep you on edge. Every scene feels like it's cranked up to 11.
And what's interesting is how resourceful the characters are. You've got Lucy, Erin, and their friends, Kate, Nick, and Hannah, all trying to come up with ways to survive and outsmart Ben. But no matter what they do, it always feels like Ben has the upper hand. He's just so unpredictable and, frankly, terrifying.
That unpredictability is what makes him such an effective antagonist. You're not just dealing with a rabid animal, you're dealing with an animal that's incredibly smart and, in some ways, almost human. It's unsettling, especially when you realize that no one is safe. The body count starts to rise, and you're left wondering who, if anyone, is going to make it out alive.
And that's what makes it such a classic creature feature. It's not just about the gore, although there's plenty of that. It's about the psychological tension. You're constantly on edge, waiting for the next attack, the next twist. It's exhausting in the best way possible.
Speaking of gore, let's talk about how the movie doesn't hold back. Some of the scenes are downright brutal. But what's interesting is that it never feels gratuitous. Every moment of violence serves a purpose, whether it's to shock you, scare you, or just drive home how dangerous Ben has become.
And what's even more unsettling is how Ben seems to change physically as the movie goes on. At first, he's this relatively small, cute chimp. But the moment he goes feral, it's like he grows in size and ferocity. It's almost as if the filmmakers wanted to visually emphasize just how dangerous he's become.
It's a really clever touch. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde transformation. And it adds to the horror because you're not just dealing with a rabid animal. You're dealing with something that feels almost supernatural in its intensity. It's like Ben becomes this unstoppable force of nature.
And that's what makes the movie so effective. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but it's a solid entry in the creature feature genre. The pacing is tight, the tension is palpable, and the setting is absolutely stunning. It's the kind of movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish.
Agreed. And while the cast does a decent job of portraying young adults caught in a terrifying situation, the real star of the show is Ben. He's the reason you can't look away, even when you want to. The question of who survives is what keeps you invested until the very end.
And of course, We're not going to spoil that for anyone. If you want to know who makes it out alive, you'll have to watch Primate for yourself. It's rated MA, and while it's not a masterpiece, it's a solid 6.5 out of 10.
It's definitely worth a watch if you're into tense, gory thrillers. Just maybe don't watch it alone. Or with a pet chimpanzee nearby.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Primate might make you rethink the idea of having an exotic pet. It's a wild ride, and it's one that'll stick with you long after the credits roll.
Absolutely. So grab your popcorn, buckle up, and prepare for a creature feature that's equal parts terrifying and entertaining. Just remember, in the world of Primate, no one is safe.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.